Alright, alright, alright. I'm here, I'm here. Good evening. Hey, KJ. No, yeah, go to bed. Go to bed. I should be in bed. My kids are doing a sleepover. A spontaneous sleepover at a friend's house, so I'm like, fuck it. Did all my chores, like, do whatever I want. I'm gonna stream. Get some sleep, get some sleep. You can hang out. You can... Anatomy scan on Monday. This is tension building. I hope everything was okay. There can be some trickiness with that. So, you know. All good? Okay. I mean, you know. Hey, we got limbs, we got heads. Hopefully. Beating hearts. 7 toes, 7 fingers. That'll do. Still beaten. The my son was a twin when we had his anatomy scan, and they were like, yeah, we just can't make out the heartbeat of the other one, but we're sure it's there, kind of a thing. We'll check you out later. And then we all thought it was all in good faith, but later on we understood that they were kind of hinting that yeah, the other twin didn't make it with the anatomy scan stuff. So as it was, we're happy enough to have my son, but you know, I often think about, like, what if I had twins to... It was rough. It was rough for a minute, and yet it was at a time when, you know, I'm sure you know this shit that went down with my daughter, and all that was very present at the time. And twins would have been, I think, too much. I think we can all sort of, like, reflect and be honest about that. And you know, things happen for a reason, or they don't, and you can make a reason afterward. But again, I'm a feminist now, and a lot of that has to do with a lot of that stuff. You know, it's rough. If you can have 7 toes and 7 fingers, that's pretty good. That's like a C-. That's mostly what I got in high school. You can do okay with that. But it's good news in my book. It's good news in my book. All right. You'll be okay. You'll be okay. Get rest. Pray for the rest. That's all how it goes. Alright, but... Jesus Christ, where's this music? This is all out of order. Oh god. Classical Zelda music. No. We need the Zelda and chill. Alright, KJ, get some rest. Reflect, all that stuff. No matter what happens, trust me, it can get worse. Always something to be grateful for. Alright, man. Have a good night. Pop in, pop out. Where am I at? Okay, Zelda... Been on this project longer than I've been on any project in my life now. This is not the not my typical commercial or short film or animated content trailer. Zelda wants to be real. Okay. Well, I mean, anybody who might have been watching, at least my Instagram, might have seen these. These have been... Now, I know this has been a totally transparent stream, but there have been a few minutes here and there where I'd take some time to actually add a little toning and shade. These are like 15-minute increments. Not worth a stream to generate these sort of tonal thumbnails. Now we're on this one. And that's it. Let's just keep going. It's Friday night and everyone's asleep. Nobody cares. And it's all good. Alright. Number 9, WallMaster. There's Link. All this needs to be here. WallMaster. How to get organized. Okay. Ground lines. This is an empty layer, as near as I can tell. That happens. Doesn't look good. Okay. Let's just call that background. Link fill. Let's see. Passing or not, the interaction with KJ has me a little bit shook from the unprocessed trauma. That's okay. We'll deal with it live. Man, I don't even have fills for this. Holy moly. I got a little work to do. Well, let's do it. Okay. Fills. I'm happy to have a boring stream. All things interesting or boring if you do them the right way. You know what I think the problem is with you know, when it happened, and we don't know when it happened. Actually, I think I know when it happened, but I can't get into that. But we don't know how it happened, but somewhere halfway through, our my son's twinning became a singleton, as they say. And it was all very sort of medical after that. Sort of. And we were very much in the middle of my daughter's cancer diagnosis at the time. And with what was happening with that, we were already used to doctors sort of beating around the bush, sort of treating us like we were fragile humans who couldn't handle bad news. They didn't quite, you know, the doctors who knew that my wife was pregnant didn't know that our other daughter was, you know, 2/3 of the way through her cancer treatments. So they were treating us like we were normal people who can't deal with bad news, like, hey, your kid is gonna die, or you're carrying a dead child inside of you, things like that. And what was true about us at the time was that we had been through a hell of a ringer with my daughter's cancer treatments, and we did not have the normal human perspective on life and death of children. At that point, we had a very experienced circumstance of, yep, children die, and not only do they die, they die every day, and life is fragile, and there's not much you can do about it other than hope. And we knew that going in, and we knew that coming out, but they didn't know that about us. So I don't hold it to the doctors for sort of beating around the bush about it regarding the sad news, but in the same vein, we were so beat down with all the bad news over time that when it happened, it's almost like it barely registered, and that never felt right to me. Because under normal circumstances, it would have been devastating, but at the time, it almost felt like, okay, well, one less thing to worry about. That never felt good. It always, like, I don't know, I deal with a lot of survivor's guilt about a lot of the stuff. But objectively speaking, we were in no position to raise twins. There's nothing to be celebrated, obviously, but at the same time, we were almost too busy to mourn the loss. The same thing was true when my cat died on Thanksgiving. My daughter was in cancer treatments. It was, I mean, comparatively even more emotional because that was a very present physical loss, but dealt with at a distance because I was at work. My wife was at work. We didn't know what was happening. dad took her to the vet. To the vet. Well, I was in a position where, like, no matter what that day, I had to go to work and earn money. So I had my dad go take my cat to the vet. Lucky that he lived near enough by that he could deal with an emergency situation. And the vet was like, your cat has saddle thrombosis. It's like the worst I've seen. They're in terrible pain. They're not going to make it. Like, please let me put her down. I'm not going to charge you. Just let me do it. Horrible, horrible decision. On Thanksgiving, no less, but... you do. Bad news. Later on, one of my friends had told me that, I don't know if it was a Japanese or an Asian or a Chinese cultural thing, but he said that according to some cultures, Eastern cultures, that when a loved family pet dies, it's because they caught the bad luck of someone else in the family or something like that. I appreciated what he said there, and it felt like it was helpful for me to process what happened. And then, my daughter is still here, so what do I know? Is it bad luck or good luck, Realizing I have a fan on, and that's not good for the mic. So I'm gonna turn it off. It might be marginal, but definitely not good for the mic. I'll pop open the window. Let's see. A little night breeze. Okay. That's the main stuff. And there's some sort of pillar here that I've designated. We can make it important. Or not. But for now, it's important. Kind of tricky. Thinking about how all the background separates. What if it's like this? For the room we're in, this basically should handle just fine. Room, quote unquote. I remember having a lot of existential issues. A lot of crises, mental crises, emotional crises when my wife was pregnant. There was all sorts of things happening that were like, they felt like they were immediate me issues. Like, at that time, we might all be too young, but there was this thing called the Zika virus that was spreading and causing child deformities and things like that. And or it felt tailored to me, as if my news feed was curated with things that would present to me as, well, Max, turns out that thing you thought didn't matter back in the day has come to bite you in the ass, and whatever happens to your kid is your fault. Very unfair things. Unfair to me, unfair certainly to my wife. But I do remember being going a little insane, wondering what kind of happiness did I deserve as a father? given what I had done in my life. And granted, I had done nothing wrong, basically, you know. But what had I done right? What did I deserve? It's very, And again, all that stuff made me come around to realize this was all just bullshit we perpetrate on... Well, I mean, regardless of whether or not anything bad happens to me, my kid, or if everything turned out perfectly, it was all just bullshit that we were putting on women to basically blame them for whatever happened to a kid. A terrible, terrible, terrible injustice. And once I came around to that, I was a little more at peace with it. My wife's birth was not without its issues, and for both kids there were some trials, but happy for now to say that I'm grateful things turned out as they did. Just fill this one in right here in the foreground. I don't know why it needs it, but it needs it. We need some... Yeah. Some of these, filling in these rocks, will be a little tedious, but it'll pay off. I'm all alone in the chat, I guess. I don't know what's going on, but I'm alone. It's all good. Friday night. Everybody's got better things to do. That's good. Don't talk to me. I'll be asleep in a few minutes. I was in a bit of a... I don't know if I'd call it a debate. There is a... I can't call it a debate. The subreddit doesn't allow debate. Well, it's called Defending AI Art, and they love themselves over there. And I looked at that. I've been lurking over there for a while. And I'm AI art tolerant. I'm definitely not an enthusiast. But there's definitely application for the concept. There's some of the methodology has something left to be desired, but those details can be hammered out over time, I suppose. And mostly I lurk there just to Just to know what tune is the devil playing, sort of thing. But where there is today, maybe it was today, maybe it was last night, but there was someone posting. They're like, I just don't get why they think something. Why what they say wrong about AI art, copying people's livelihoods and regurgitating all, you know, the whole spiel. I don't need to paraphrase. If anybody challenges me on it, I'll pull up the thing and we can all take a look. But it was definitely one of those, like, I'm not sure what the harm is. Can someone demonstrate me the harm? And it's like, granted, it's like, it's hard to say what the harm is if you disrupt another person's ability to make a living doing what they do by sort of vacuuming up the essence of their output over many hundreds of years and distill it down and formularize it and commodify it. What's the harm? You know? Well, what's your definition of harm? It's a little odd that What's going on here? Oh, it must be a ground thing. Ground fell. Ground lines, there it is. Okay, in the ground lines, you can see it. Okay. Okay. There we go. Okay. Anyway, they were a bit indignant about how can artists make a claim that they've been harmed or have this stance. And I had this analogy that I phrased it this way. Well, what if you had shook someone's hand in friendship and after doing so, they took the biological sample from the handshake that you had left on their skin, extracted the DNA, cloned you and then did whatever the hell they wanted with the product of that DNA. Would you get why that would be wrong? And they came back like, no, I don't understand why that would be wrong. And you're like, okay, no, that just basically tells me how much common ground we have. Not sure how you think that's a win for you, but okay, good for you. Nothing is wrong, nothing is right. Good, good, good. Good to know. Good to know. Alright, I'm going to... This better not be one of those nights where I have a bunch of raiders sweep in either. So I'm going to sleep from self-stimulating myself. Do a little bit of this. A little the old dodge and burn. Looks okay. Boom. would be cool if there were these interesting strided shadow lines. You see where they could converge the distance. Yeah. There we go. Yeah, something like that. Okay, I'm going to save this out before people start filing in. It's been 45 minutes. Wee. Wee. There we go. No. Bigger. Smaller. Like that. That's a good size. But I like seeing... Oh shit, I gotta turn this off. There we go. Turn off G drive. What happens is in the background, this statue is exploding with fire behind the both of them. And that may not be clear to all parties involved, but that's what's happening. All right, this looks good. Okay. 47 minutes is a perfectly good stream. I'm going to save, call it a night. I don't care that it's a quick one. Everything is wonderful. And I hope everybody's doing okay. All right, here. I'm going to post this to the Instagram, Study Studio Max. Follow me there. You'll see stuff. There you go. All right, that's it. Good night. Here we go.